I've been following this story closely. Let's get into the money, y'all, because we got a couple things that we need to go over before I open up the chat or I open up the live stream for y'all to be able to come up here and disagree. You want to disagree about Oprah, you want to disagree about profiling people, you will have your opportunity to do so. Don't get scared now. Get ready to cam up. All right, make sure you got your likes up. The likes look a little low, but I'm waiting on y'all to make sure y'all get y'all likes up. I know that it's 4 people that hit the dislike button. Shout out to y'all, because y'all are the ones that's looking dusty that I need to profile, but you can't make it inside of my neighborhood anyway. Don't worry about it. We're going to make sure that you can't make it. You got a better chance making it in the hood than you have making it inside of my neighborhood, because all of my people carry. We are all CPL holders. We all have a good relationship with the cops. We all pay our homeowners association fees, and we all make sure that anytime we see any profiling that needs to be done, we execute immediately and expeditiously. You know what I'm saying? But I've been following this story with the UAW. Shout out to the UAW. And just like I predicted, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for y'all to be able to join the live and tell. I don't even want to talk to people that agree with me today. I only want to talk to people that disagree with me today. Kobe says, I naturally look like an African warlord. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, my God. I only want to talk to people that disagree with me today. I don't want to talk to anybody that agree with me. I've been following the UAW, and I told y'all that this was going to happen. I told y'all that the UAW leaders were looking to strike, and it was nothing that automakers could do to even remotely come to the table with enough that would satisfy them. It's nothing that they can do that even remotely can come to the table with people that would have offered that satisfy them. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all.
Get right to Fox News' Dave Kinchin. He's been following this all night tonight, and we do have these new developments. The Ford deal was seemingly pretty good, but not good enough.
Yeah, that's right. There were some big numbers in this Ford deal. Ford putting a deal on the table in an attempt to cool temperatures, but not happening. The union still holding strong tonight. Ford offering the UAW a new deal just 2 weeks to go before the current labor agreement expires. But tensions are building between the union and the other members of the Big Three.
Our goal is not to strike. Our goal is to bargain a fair contract. But if we have to strike to win economic and social justice, then we will.
What the hell is social justice? What the hell is striking for social justice? Honestly. And see, now this guy is becoming an enemy of mine. Just from a content creation perspective, not in real life. But this man is becoming an enemy of mine. And I know that y'all like to move in solidarity. Yes, I know what all of the talking points were. I worked in the union for so many years. I was local 600, right there at the foundation of where the assembly line was started. Shout out to the Model T. Shout out to Ford Motor Company. Shout out to the Rouge Complex, because y'all paid me a lot of money in my career. But what the hell is striking for social justice mean? What the hell is that? I told y'all that Ford would never be able to put a deal on the table to where these people would ever be satisfied in the first place. Now, it's 2 ways of looking at it. You can strike for social justice, or you can work with the person. And usually what happens in a negotiation is I present you an offer. You say, I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that, but I do want to reject that, and I think you need to bump it up a little bit more on this. I'm going to present an offer on this side of the table. And then at some point you negotiate. There's some give, there's some pull, there's some take, there's some concessions on both sides. I'll take this, you take that. Usually what happens is, and what happened in the past, they said, listen, we don't like the bonuses that's going to all of the executives. They getting these outside bonuses as a part of their compensation. We don't like the fact that white collar workers can align their compensation along with the profitability of the company. And so what the union leaders then negotiated in the past, they said, we also want to participate in the success of the company. We don't just want an hourly wage. And so what automakers did was they tied the success into the compensation. And then when they was getting them $10,000 and $20,000 paychecks at the end of the year because of the success, because they was having, what was it called? It was a bonus that basically auto workers get, profit sharing checks. So they negotiated profit sharing checks. And so at the end of the year, they started getting profit sharing checks, similar to how white collar workers and executives were getting bonuses as a result of it also. They didn't used to get profit sharing checks because that had went away during the recession and everything like that. And so what happens is you give and you take and you negotiate. If they present an offer on the table, you don't say, I don't like that, I'm about to strike. You come back and you negotiate as a result of it, right? But I'm telling you that this man is hell-bent. He was already hell-bent on trying to teach the company a lesson. He's not trying to work with the company on behalf of the workers. He's trying to teach them a lesson so that they can ultimately have to suffer at the hands of the workers, which is not in the best interest of the people that work for the company. All right?
President Shawn Fain taking to Facebook Live announcing charges of unfair labor practices filed with the National Labor Relations Board against GM and Stellantis regarding stalled labor talks.
So they filed a lawsuit. Well, let me hear what he got to say.
We need to speak out together with one voice against GM and Stellantis' illegal refusal to bargain in good faith.
So remember when I told y'all the other day what historically UAW meant? I know this intimately. This is how I'm able to more effectively vet what companies you're supposed to invest in, because this is why I tell y'all need to truly understand what it is that you're investing in, not just say, well, this company is a dividend company or this company was making profits. No, you need to understand every single aspect of the business before you invest in it, because it could affect your balance sheet. 100%. It could affect your dividend. It could affect your investment all the way across the board. And I told y'all that historically what unions would do was they would pick a target to then set the precedent of how they wanted to negotiate their contracts with the rest of the companies once they reached an agreement. And so I told y'all that Ford was the company that they picked, but then they just flat out rejected the offer from Ford, which it was supposed to be a really good offer. I don't know what the details of the offer is. It's supposed to be off, in the table, right? But it was a really good offer, and they just flat out rejected it. They didn't say we're going to continue to negotiate up until the strike date. They just completely rejected it. And then they filed a lawsuit against General Motors and Stellantis, to which they saying that they refusing to negotiate. Well, no, they're not refusing to negotiate. The company that you set the precedent for was supposed to be Ford Motor Company, which then is a waterfall effect for how it is that you negotiate the rest of your contracts. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I'm telling you, they're trying to ruin these people's lives. And ultimately, what companies then start to do is that long term, they remember this. Leadership remembers this. And then what they do is they wind up moving all of their manufacturing to Mexico so that they no longer have to be interdependent on what the fuck is going on over here in Michigan, Tennessee, California, New York, wherever it is that they got a plant. They start to move manufacturing, or they build up capacity in other places just in case something like this happens in the future. They start moving away from it. And it also sets the precedent of other companies such as the Nissans, the Hondas, the Toyotas, because then the workers are looking and they saying, we don't want to be a part of that shit. We not unionizing. All companies takes good care of us. All companies taking good care of us. It set the precedent, and then nobody wants to join the UAW ranks because they've already ruined their reputation of being against the company, not necessarily for the workers.
And we need to be ready to go on strike if necessary.
UAW members overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike last week, but Fain says hitting the picket lines is not the goal if the money looks right.
What's driving members' expectations are the Big Three's profits. You can't make $21 billion in profits in half a year and expect members to take a mediocre contract. You can't make $250 billion in North American profits over the last decade and expect us to keep aiming low and settling lower.
GM responded to the charge in a statement saying, in part, we are surprised by and strongly refute the NLRB charge filed by the International UAW. We believe it has no merit and is an insult to the bargaining committees. We have been hyper-focused on negotiating directly and in good faith with the UAW and are making progress.
You make progress. You don't necessarily bend. You don't fold. You stay at the negotiating table. You do the thing that's in the best interest of the people. You don't file a lawsuit in the middle of a negotiation. Who does that? Who files a lawsuit in the middle of a negotiation? Somebody said, what's Mr. Fain's salary? Mr. Fain is the person that's right here at the bottom of my screen. He is the leader of the UAW. He is the UAW president. These guys and these union leaders, if y'all understood what these guys were about, don't y'all know that the company pay these dudes and these dudes don't even really have a job? I'm glad you said that. Don't y'all know that a lot of these union leaders and these presidents and stuff like that, these guys get a salary from the company and they don't even have to do any work except for work on the behalf of whatever it is the worker wants them to do. They sit there, they sit in their office, they talk, they walk around, they say, hey, is the company treating you right? The company pays them to be against them when the negotiating start to take place. I'm telling you, I know these guys. I've seen it. I've seen it play out time and time again. I know it. I was a part of the union. I used to hate union dues coming up. Yo, they was taking union dues out of our check before we even got our 90 days in and we was considered a part of the union. They were taking union dues out of our check before we were even considered a part of the union and we got our 90 days in and we was hired in permanently. These guys walk around and do no work to actually drive profits into the company, and they have their cushy jobs and they have their hard hats on, and they don't actually do anything, but they're getting paid by the company and they're getting overtime pay, and they still got their benefits. It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. And they sit there on the floor and they talk all of this shit and they rile everybody up. And they're not even the ones to do the job. They get in these elections so that they can have these cushy jobs. That's a fact.
Stellantis also chiming in, saying Stellantis has not received the filing, but is shocked by Mr. Fain's claims that we have not bargained in good faith. This is a claim with no basis in fact, and we are disappointed to learn that Mr. Fain is more focused on filing frivolous legal charges than on actual bargaining. Ford's offer would give hourly workers 15% guaranteed combined increases in wages and better benefits over the life of the contract, according to a release. Wages along with OT and bonuses would jump from under $80,000 last year to $92,000 in the first year of the deal, but the union leadership has said it's not quite a fair agreement. So could a strike be averted with just 2 weeks to go?
It might be really hard, just based on the rhetoric and where both sides are coming from.
Mike Martinez has been covering the contract talks for Automotive News. He says any strike would be devastating for the industry.
It could be financially disastrous, even if it's a short strike. We've seen estimates saying a 10-day strike could cost $5 billion. That's really an unfathomable amount of money. If it lasts beyond that, it would be even more.
Now, keep in mind, the UAW, they're really trying to recover a lot of those concessions going back to the Great Recession. And the big three, they're not denying that there have been some big profits, but they say it's very expensive to transition full scale to EVs. So that's their argument on this. So 14 days to go, and that clock is still counting. That much we do know, guys.
Now, you want to know what I would do? You know what I want to know what I would do? Fuck it. Let's go balls to the wall and let's just see where we all crash out. Everybody can wind up getting laid off. I'm laying every fucking body off. Everybody can get laid off. Fuck it. Move production over to Mexico, India. They want jobs over there. Fuck it. Y'all don't even want to come to... Because, see, this ain't even about what's fair and what's not. You filing a frivolous fucking lawsuit in the middle of a negotiation. How is that smart? Instead of staying at the table until the time expires and seeing if we can come to a deal. You filing a lawsuit, but you still expecting us to negotiate in good faith? I give them what they want, but I will be planning for the future, and I will be planning to eliminate everybody and everything that got to do. If it was me, I would be planning to crush the fucking union. If it was me, I would starve people out. I'm a different type of dude. If it was me, I would starve y'all the fuck out. Because you know what's going to happen? Don't y'all know? Let me give y'all a little bit of insight. And this is from a person that understands the automotive industry intricately. Did you know that there's cars from foreign automakers that have more American parts in them than cars that are manufactured or traditionally, historically, American automotive manufacturers? Do you know that Toyota cars It shows it. If you go, when you go to the dealership and you stand out there, it'll tell you exactly what percentage of parts are. And so what they did was they finessed it, right? And so what they'll say is these are parts that are made in North America, because that includes Canada and Mexico too. But the majority of the parts that are made for foreign automakers, like some of these Toyotas, are primarily made in the United States of America and put together and manufactured and assembled here in America and then shipped off to you. There's foreign cars that are more American than American cars are today. Why do you think that is? Because foreign companies will then put more investment when they find that people are more willing to work with them, because it's incentivized for you to do the thing that's in your own best interest. It's not American assembled. The parts, it shows you where the parts come from, what percentage of the parts are actually manufactured here in the United States of America and in North America, in order for you to understand exactly how these companies are making money. But because you don't understand that, you think that just because it's a plant here for you to go through the assembly process means that that's something that actually you're supposed to stand on. I'm trying to tell you the truth. Because you don't understand it, y'all advocating for y'all own demise. Why do y'all think that companies resist the union if they so good? When you get rid of and you wind up killing the company that you work for, and you don't have a skill set to move over into something different, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Just curious. I think that the workers deserve a raise. I think that they deserve to share in the profits. I think that they deserve good health care coverage. I think that they deserve job security. I think that they deserve getting guaranteed plan. But when you have a fucking leader that's filing a lawsuit during a negotiation, how do y'all think that actually breeds good faith and coming to the table? How are you a partner with me and you filing a lawsuit? If you was in a marriage with somebody and they filed a lawsuit right at during the negotiation of what it is that y'all coming to terms with, would you think that that person is trying to fleece you, or would you think that that person is trying to work for y'all both best interests? Because I'm just going to tell you, consumers, they different now. Consumers are completely different than what they used to be. Consumers don't give a fuck about buying American. See, a long time y'all was able to lean on that shit. Now they willing to buy whatever it is that suits their needs and is going to go inside of their driveway and get them to and from safely and keeps the most residual value in it. They don't care. Consumers are not concerned with whether or not they are buying Ford, Chrysler, and GM. That is only the people that are historic dinosaurs. It is a global marketplace. They're going to buy Kia. They're going to buy Tesla. They're going to buy foreign all day, Toyota, Honda, all of that. They don't care. They do not care. They not supporting y'all. They don't give a fuck about you. Consumers want the best value for their money. They not just going to overpay for a $150,000 fucking platinum truck that you got on there. They don't care nothing about that. They going to buy the thing that's in their own best interest. If y'all don't change and evolve y'all ways, y'all are going to go the same way as a lot of these extinct companies are going. I'm warning you. I'm telling you. If you think that you're going to retire in these spaces and that you're not eventually going to get laid off as a result of you then having this archaic mindset that does not feed into the success of both the members and the company itself, it's over. It's over. I'm warning you. I'm honest to God warning you. It's over. It is absolutely over. And everybody else is going to suffer as a result of it. Everybody at the Warren Center for GM and everybody down at the Renaissance Center and everybody over in Dearborn. I toured it. They offered me a position over there in corporate to head up their UX UI for what it is that they got going on in their new division. I seen what was going on as far as what they was building. I talked to the leadership. I'm very well connected in what's going on in all of these different places, including the new technology center that Ford is building over in Corktown. I am intimately familiar with every single thing that's going on, and I'm trying to tell you, when you see a company or a union that files a lawsuit 2 weeks before a strike deadline against people that wasn't even their initial target. Ford is the initial target. They just flat out rejected it. They never came back to the table. Then they filed a lawsuit against GM and Stellantis, and you think that this is going to fly? Okay. All right. I warned you that this was going to happen. I guarantee you they're going to strike. Well, I don't guarantee anything. In my personal opinion, I believe that they're going to strike. In my personal opinion, I believe that they're going to strike.